Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get into
Compressor
it.
is a rather useful device in the assortment of any motorist. With its help, you can perform an extensive list of tasks. It is wrong to believe that such devices are necessary solely for pumping up tires. Functional capabilities are much wider. In addition to inflating tires, compressors help in cleaning contaminants by blowing, combine work with pneumatic devices to polish and grind. But compressors have another interesting and useful opportunity. We are talking about painting. You can paint the car itself, as well as walls and houses, ceilings, floors, exterior cladding, and much more. The compressor becomes an indispensable device in repair and construction works. At the same time, it is necessary to understand in detail what compressors are needed for car painting. Not all models designed for the same tire inflation are able to cope with the application of primer, paint, or anti-corrosion compounds. Here you need a device with certain parameters and capabilities. Types. To determine what kind of compressor you need for painting the car, you should study the proposed range. In total, there are several categories of compressors. Devices of piston type. The most common types that are most often found on sale. Work is carried out with the help of an electric motor or internal combustion engine. Air is injected through a valve with the help of a receiver. The main disadvantages of reciprocating compressors are considered to be low performance, high noise level, and fairly rapid wear of elements. But the design is very light. It can be repaired with your own hands, and the compressors themselves are affordable. Screw-type compressors. Here the operation is based on the interaction of a pair of screws. There are no valves, which significantly reduces the noise level during operation. In parallel, the resource has increased. Screw models are able to work for a long time, even if constantly turned on. But it is not possible to repair such a device with your own hands. Models of the spiral type. Their principle of operation is largely similar to the work of screw compressors. Only the arrangement of spirals goes not in parallel, as in the case of screws, but at a given angle. It has a small size with a more complex design. It is also impossible to repair the device with your own hands, while the price is much higher than competitors. The considered varieties of compressors are also divided into oil-free and oil compressors. If you take screw and piston devices of the oil type, then there will be difficulties with maintenance, although the resource and safety margin is impressive. The main disadvantage is that it is necessary to clean the air from dust and contaminants with oil impurities. Selection criteria. Not everyone sees the difficulty in how to choose the right compressor for painting a car. But here it is important to observe the line between the financial issue and technical characteristics. There is no point in paying for an expensive and high-power compressor if its capabilities you will not use 100%. But too cheap models with poor performance will not allow you to paint. When choosing a device should be based on several key characteristics, namely, power supply, power consumption, type of device, performance, receiver volume and pressure, manufacturer. Each criterion requires separate consideration. Power supply. It is important to decide in advance what type of power supply should be, so that the compressor for painting an auto can quietly perform its functions. Since most garages have electricity, it is logical to choose models equipped with an electric motor. It is connected to a standard 220V power supply and start working. Surely, it is a single-phase network with 220 volts in the socket that is used. Only you need to buy a device that works from this voltage. One cannot exclude the need to use the device at the dacha or in country houses, where sometimes there is a three-phase network with 380V. For such cases, compressor models operating in different power supply modes are suitable. Or only a 380V model. If there is no access to electricity in the places where you need to use the device, then you should buy power-independent models. These are compressors powered by a gasoline engine. Power consumption so that your compressor for painting autos does not ruin your family budget, winding up tens of kilowatts of energy. In a matter of minutes, you need a fairly economical option. And what exactly, you should think and weigh. When buying a device, be sure to look at the indicators of power consumption. If it is a high-power model, then there is a high probability that your electrical circuit will not withstand such a load. This is also possible in situations where the wiring has a small cross-section. Overloading occurs and power outages start to occur. A short circuit is not excluded. Read also, Dokaka as an alternative to the spare tire. Features of safe operation orient on the state of the wiring. Standard garage electrical network will allow you to work with compressors with a capacity of 1-1, 5 kW without any problems. For more reliable networks, models with a capacity of about 2 to 2.5 kilowatts will be suitable. Since we are talking about how to choose a compressor specifically for painting cars, and not just for inflating tires, it is worth paying attention to some features. The most common option for work in garage conditions is a piston type of compressor. They are easy to take to different objects, where something needs to be painted, covered with primer, or anti-corrosive compositions. They are unpretentious in terms of operating conditions, easy to maintain with their own hands, have a reliable design, and cost relatively inexpensive. Here you should emphasize whether it is oil or oil-free. Oil-free, we are not interested in this situation, since such models are suitable for inflating tires, blowing out jets, and other simple tasks. You can paint some flat surface, but no more. Therefore, it is optimal to take oil compressors. They will perfectly cope with the painting of any surface, including the car body. There may also be questions regarding the choice between coaxial and axial piston compressor. Here it is better to stop on the second option. They are more efficient, more reliable, and better able to cope with intensive use. Performance indicators. One of the key features is considered to be the capacity or pressure of the compressor used for painting a car. The capacity indicates how much air the device will be able to pump per unit of time. For a compressor that you are going to use for painting a car, it is recommended to choose within the range of 120 liters. Such containers allow you to work with paint and varnish materials when processing small areas. Capacity from 120 to 160 liters per minute has an operating pressure of about 8 atmospheres. These characteristics will be enough to paint small areas and periodically work with a compressor. For beginner painters, is not a bad option, but far from ideal for more serious tasks. If you need to qualitatively paint small elements of the car, such as doors or hood, then choose a device with a capacity of 300 liters per minute. The working pressure can be 8 to 10 atmospheres. Some medium capacity models are capable of producing up to 600 liters per minute. For professional painting, use compressor models with a capacity of at least 500 liters per minute and a pressure of at least 10 atmospheres. Just note that the performance is geometric and effective. You should only be interested in the effective capacity, because the geometric capacity only shows the inlet capacity. What is important to us is how many liters per minute the compressor produces at the outlet. Do not confuse these values, otherwise you may be in for an unpleasant surprise when you start work. Here you should determine for what purposes and how often you are going to use the compressor. From here you will understand which equipment will really suit you. Spending a lot of money on high-performance models, when you only need a little paint job, makes no sense. Medium performance units will do the job just fine, but they will cost several times less. Receiver. To competently choose a compressor that will be fully suitable for painting a car, you should also look at such an indicator as the volume of the receiver. It should be selected on the basis of the planned work. If you are a novice painter, then choose a simple but sufficiently productive model. For professional painting of cars, when they are on the stream, more serious equipment is required. To work with a car in a garage, when you plan to apply paint and varnish materials with the help of a compressor, you should not take a model with a volume of less than 50 liters. Smaller receivers will not allow you to fully perform the tasks. Here you can give some advice, depending on the intensity of use and the goals of the buyer. If you plan to use the compressor only in rare cases, and you need to paint a small area of the car, then the receiver for 30 to 50 liters will cope with its functions. Productivity. Here, you need about 150 liters per minute, and the pressure is not less than 8 atmospheres. When painting small areas of the car, it is enough to use a receiver with a volume of 50 liters. It is optimal to take a model with a 100-liter receiver, a capacity of about 300 to 350 liters per minute, and a pressure of 10 atmospheres. Professional equipment provides for the use of receivers with a volume of 200 liters and more. Here already start from the frequency of use and the amount of work that needs to be done. Read also, what sets of tools for the machine to choose to avoid complicating your life. Try to focus on averages. The average capacity, power, receiver volume, and pressure will be the best solution for your price and capabilities. Or go deeper into the technical characteristics of the compressor so that the device fully and completely meets your needs. Additional recommendations. There are a few more things that not all motorists pay attention to. As a result, this turns into some difficulties and problems in the future. It is better to foresee everything in advance so that later you do not have to return the compressor to the store or buy new equipment for painting the vehicle. Drive. On modern compressors that are used for servicing and working with automobiles, two drive options are provided. These are direct and belt drive. Direct transfers the torque immediately to the crankshaft. Belt drives use a slightly different principle. Torque goes to the driven pulley from the driving pulley with the help of a belt. If you are interested in painting a car, then here it is better to stop on belt compressors. At the price they are more expensive, but they have a wide list of advantages. The main advantage can be considered the lack of disadvantages characteristic of direct drive compressors. They have higher revolutions, which, when using air cooling, provokes rapid overheating of heads and cylinders. This significantly reduces the life of the equipment. Plus, direct drive leads to overloading of the motor at the moment of startup. Belt-driven models do not have these problems. Cylinders. The buyer should be interested in the number of cylinders used in the compressor. It is generally believed that the more of them, the better. In most cases, this statement is true. But since we need a compressor for painting, a big role is played not only by the number of cylinders, but also by the volume. Here, experts advise buying models that have a paired number of cylinders. Their plus is that they do not provoke excessive vibrations, thereby ensuring the durability of the device. Movability. Compressors can be divided into stationary and mobile. If you are sure that the compressor will always be in one place, and it will not be necessary to move it, you can take a stationary model. But practice shows that compressors at least periodically have to be moved. Even in this situation, it is already right to take the equipment, which is equipped with a special cart on wheels. Taking into account these additional recommendations, it will not be difficult for you to determine the optimal characteristics and required parameters. Leading manufacturers. If you have fully determined all the requirements, characteristics, and properties of the compressor intended for painting a car, now, the appropriate model should be searched for on sale. Here it is worth paying attention to the rating of manufacturers that enjoy well-deserved popularity, demand, and trust of consumers. Among the most worthy candidates, the following brands can be distinguished: Fubag, Metabo, Elitech, Patriot, ABAC, AVS, Hyundai, Berkut, Aggressor. It is also interesting that in Russia there is an increased demand for the products of a domestic manufacturer represented by Aggressor. It is not necessary to be very surprised by this fact, because the quality level is really high, the performance is excellent, and the price is noticeably lower than many foreign analogs with the same characteristics and functionality. Therefore, it is really worth looking for a model of compressor suitable for your working parameters among the above-mentioned manufacturers. Each of the companies can offer a decent range. What exactly you will stop your choice, decide for yourself. Compressors are really great help in the process of painting a car. Using it for such purposes, it is not at all deprived of its additional capabilities. Whether to use it for tire inflation is a secondary issue. High-performance models are able to quickly inflate the wheels, but they are definitely not camping-type equipment. A large compressor in the trunk is unlikely to be carried. Therefore, it is better to always have at your disposal a regular compact compressor, which can be easily folded on a shelf in the car, put away in the area of the spare wheel, and if necessary, powered from the cigarette lighter and pump up the tires. In conclusion, selecting the right compressor for car painting is crucial for achieving a flawless finish. Remember to consider factors such as the compressor's capacity, pressure output, and portability to ensure it meets your specific needs. By investing time in understanding these elements, you can enhance your painting experience and achieve professional results. Thank you for watching, and happy painting!